everybody, and welcome to Sidelines. I'm Drew Patrick. On today's episode, we talk with football head coach John Evans and field hockey head coach Brittany Hansrow, plus we spend game day with Saramae Radel. Welcome back to Sidelines. Let's talk Sprint football. As joining me at the desk is head coach John Evans. Coach, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Drew.
So let's talk about this past weekend. It was opening weekend, a long road trip, and not the result that we wanted, but what were some of the things that you really can take away positively from that game?
Well, a couple things right off the bat. We've really had a lot of penalty yards over the years. We were limited to 64 yards in penalties ourselves, and one with an unsportsmanlike. So technically we were in the 40 yards for penalties, which was huge for us. Some of our freshmen rose to the occasion for this game. It was a first college game for a lot of them, and proved themselves to be doing pretty good. So.
Obviously, any time a league MVP goes down and has to come out of the game, that's a tough situation, but your backup quarterback, freshman in a big stage, came in and did well. What did you see from Dion in that game?
Well, Dion's a good quarterback. Learning from Cassid, came into the game, and I kidded him when he threw that first interception because it went for a touchdown. I said, "Congratulations on your first college touchdown pass." And but he did a great job. He came in and led the team. We were in a bad situation as far as Cassid. We didn't know what was going on at that point. Dion threw 2 touchdown passes. Another freshman, Bo Schellinger, caught one down in the end zone. So our freshmen came alive.
So what is going to be the next step for them? Obviously, dealing with adversity and losing that first game for the freshmen and really for the rest of the team, but knowing that these freshmen are going to be impact players for you guys, what is the next step they have to take before we get to the game this weekend?
Well, I think the big thing is they got to realize that we're a pretty good team. We played a very good team. Caldwell is very good, and probably will go far into the league this year. But we got 4 very winnable games coming up in the next 4 weeks, so we just have to refocus and regroup and get down to business.
What were some of the things defensively that you saw that kind of worked and then sometimes got away? What were kind of the juxtaposition of the defense from that day?
Well, defensively, we played lights out on their run game. They didn't get too many rushing yards against us. We made a couple of mental errors in the passing game, which led to 2 touchdowns. We had a couple of mental errors in the secondary that didn't go our way, but they're easily correctable. And again, we just have to move on.
Some of the returners that were standout before and continue to be standout: Chase Mosier, Matt Robert. How much of an impact defensively is it to have those 2 really stud players who have maybe the most opposite personalities from one another, but to have the both of them on the defense and play as well as they did, how much of a boost does that give your team?
That's a huge boost. I mean, they're feared by every team in the league as far as for their play. Also, Kayan Berger is another one that they have to play around. So it's a big plus for me to know that the defense is solid, on all 3 levels.
Kayan, the kind of utility knife of the team. He's been multiple different positions throughout his whole career.
Yes, he has.
Having versatile, I mean, you have to be in this league, but having those versatile players, I'm sure, is a benefit. And then in the kicking game, Logan Shull, what was the next step you saw kind of him make in his growth and maturation?
He is really coming along. I think he could have kicked a 50-yard field goal. So he cleared a 35-yard field goal by 35 yards. And leg is much stronger this year. He's got more confidence this year. And we made a mistake in the first half, and I'll own it. We should have went for a field goal on 4th and 5 down inside the 30. And we decided to go for it, and it would have put us down 10-3. And at one point, we would have gone up 20-17. So, again, that's a mistake on the coaching staff. That was on me. I made the call to go for it, but we got to learn from that.
So this week is the home opener. First of all, How do you have to kind of gauge the emotions of like a home opener? There's pageantry, it's a night game here, there's a lot going on, there's a large group of freshmen. Is that more on the leaders of your team, or is that something that the coaching staff kind of has to do too?
I'm putting it on the locker room. I think we got to get ready. We played in a very large, hostile area Saturday night with a marching band and a lot of festivities going on, so they're used to the crowd. Nothing like coming home to our own. And I think that's worth some points right there, just our hometown atmosphere. And freshmen, I think, are polished. I mean, that was a rude awakening for some of them. Welcome to college football.
So the opponent is Chestnut Hill, who played pretty well last week against the defending champions in the league. What are some of the things that maybe early on here, as we're early in the week, that you have seen from them in that game that you kind of are preparing to go against?
Well, they have a very good defense. So again, I think our offense matches up fairly well with their defense. I don't think their offense is going to be able to do much on our defense, although they got out to a lead for a quarter and a half on Navy last week. So it's they've improved drastically. They only won 1 or 2 games last year, and they're definitely any team in the league right now is in the mix at this point, and they can come in here and play lights out, and it'd be a whole different thing. I think we're ready. I think we got a taste of defeat, and if it had to happen, that's probably the week to have it happen, because now we can run the table for the next 4 weeks before we get into Army, Navy, and Penn.
Gotta love parity in this league too. That the Division IIs are coming up and now competing with the traditional Division I powers. You always love that in the league. It makes every week more fun. This week, again, this matchup, Battle of Pennsylvania, so to speak, other than Penn in the league, but the Division II, so to speak, Battle of PA. Knowing that, and sometimes like you dealt with chippiness before you dealt with chippiness this past week, what do you have to do, that mental game, that thing that people really don't focus on, to be mentally tough in the game? What is going to be kind of taking away what happened this past week to go into a game where it could happen again? It has happened in the past with these two teams.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is to get on to the next play. And I must have said that 100 times. You know, we can't focus, we can't do anything about what just happened, but we can move on. And we have to keep our mouths shut. It's always the second guy that gets the flag. And we did great this week. We really did. I mean, for our guys, for the amount of stuff they went through this week, they kept their mouths shut and walked away from the plays. So, you know, I think we just have to build off that. And you're right, it will get chippy Saturday night.
Hey, so it should be good. What's going to be kind of the key to get the win this weekend? Is there something that you can pinpoint that's going to have to be really good?
Well, I think our offense has to put some points on the board, obviously early. You know, our goal is to get up to an early lead and then let them play from behind. And our defense, I have full confidence our defense is going to play lights out football. So I just think we have to get out of the guns quick this week.
So also with this being the first home game, there's a bit of a special presentation before the game, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, through the AFCA and the College Football Playoff Foundation, they're awarding teachers. It's called the Extra Yard for Teachers that help out. And we are honoring 2 of our own this week with Dr. Kristen Long from the biology department, who does so much for our team and our university with her cancer projects, and for Dr. Adam Brennan, who leads the band, and the band is our 12th man, and I'm real excited to have this happen. We'll be presenting them with autographed game balls from the AFCA, along with a t-shirt and a gift card to be used towards their department.
Well, Coach, looking forward to it. It's an exciting week here with the home opener. Thank you so much for taking the time and stopping by.
Thanks, Drew.
And Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere.
It's all part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart. A place where you can kick back, unwind, and forget about the pressures of life. Disconnect and reconnect with your friends, family, or even yourself while surrounded by nature's beauty. So start planning your adventures today at visitpottertioga.com.
Welcome back to Sidelines. Let's talk field hockey now. As joining me at the desk is head coach Brittany Hansrow. Thanks for stopping by.
I feel like I was just here. I was.
Hey, it's always good to have you back here.
Yeah.
This past week, let's start Wednesday of this past week. An exciting match. Not the result you wanted, but a lot to take away against one of the top teams in the country, pushing that game to overtime. Walk me through it. What were some of the things that were clicking in that game?
What was clicking for us was our defensive tactics against them, and then I think that we had a couple really great counterattacks against them to provide ourselves with some great opportunities. Our offensive corners that we called were just right on point, so research was well done by our coaching staff on that end. Every single corner we had was ran well. We got the shots off. We did get the execution on the one. And boy, there was 2 others that were just so close. So I think for our sake, it was like that game, literally the whole game it could have been anybody's game the whole game. And I think that's what made it really exciting. They're a great team. And I think we really challenged them, and then they challenged us. So unfortunately, we didn't get the win, but we could taste it. We were so close. We see them again next month at home, and that will count for conference. So I think our team's going to be hungrier than ever. And I think things that worked for us, we're going to continue to push for, and then look back at film and try to tweak a couple things as well to be just even better prepared.
I always talk about players who really kind of have taken the next step from their first year to the second year, and I don't know if anyone really has filled that or has a brighter light on them this year on your team than Kennedy Strout, who has made that next step. What have you seen from her for her to be able to take that next step that she has early?
Yeah, so I mean, I talked about her the very first time that we met and talked. She was one that I talked about who had a great spring, and we transitioned her from an outside high mid to the center high mid this year. We had tried it last year, and it just wasn't meshing and it wasn't working. She was young and really had to gain knowledge of that position, but throughout the spring she did. And she just has such a good read on it on the offensive end and defensive end at this point. And so now that she, like, I call it like bought into it as well, like she's totally in on it. She's realizing how impactful she can be on the field in that spot. And she's just taking off. I mean, she is, tied for first on our team with goals, and it's because she's in the right spots at the right time, and she's just like a game changer out there. She'll make things happen. She's got really great speed. And she's just even going to get better, even throughout this season, and you haven't even seen the best of Kennedy yet. So I'm excited because she's got 2 more seasons after this one as well. So I'm excited.
We're not even seeing the best of her. That's a scary thought. That's a good thought, but a scary thought too. The conditioning of this team, obviously the last couple games have gone into overtime, extra field hockey. What have you noticed? Has anything really stood out on that aspect that, because I know it was a focus, obviously it's a focus early in the season, but really having to show its head with 2 overtime games, what have you seen?
Yeah, I think that's an area where I do feel we could be a little bit better. Not to say we're in an awful place, but we could be a little bit better in our conditioning aspect. Like we have a subbing rotation and everything, so we keep up on things, but just noticing compared to our competitors. But I feel like coming into this week, we have 3 games coming up this week into the weekend, so I feel as though that'll be a good turning point for our team. I think we'll turn the corner on that, and we'll get to an even better place with that. And I think that they're going to just be in a little bit better place in that area.
So this past weekend, a little bit of a chance to kind of decompress and a little chance for team bonding for the team this weekend, as you guys did something a little special, if you want to.
Yeah, so we ended up having a bye weekend, and so we took the team down to Knoebels amusement park, and it was a nice day. It was really good weather. They already had the fall decorations out, so we got a nice little cute pic in front of the entrance, or main entrance, so to say. And yeah, the kids were able to go on a bunch of rides, and it's funny because I said there's the people that are like gung-ho, could like love rides so much, and then there's people who aren't as much into the rides, but then there's something for everybody there. And it's nice because Knoebels is nice because you just pay for what you go on. Like, you don't have to just pay no matter what to get in.
So to have like a team bonding event like this, and how important really is it to be able to have these kind of things, or give the student athlete this kind of experience to really help them kind of gel together?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super, 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 super important, no matter what you do as a program, to kind of have those things on the side where they can do things together as well. You got to find a balance with it, right? If you do too much, it's too much. If you don't do any, then I don't think that's necessarily a positive either. So it's finding a balance. We have 2 things plugged into the schedule this fall specifically, like for team bonding, and I think that's good. Like, you also want to make sure the team has their time to decompress personally, or just with their little pockets of friends too. But it's nice because, like, when I was a student athlete here, the last time we took Mansfield's team was back in 2018. So this group never has gone. And so definitely for me, looking back, like, that was one of my top memories of here at Mansfield too, like going to Knoebels and some of the different things we did as a group. So I know for them, like 5-10 years from now, they'll look back and be like, okay, that was fun. So yeah, there's definitely positives to making sure that there's like fun things in the mix too.
And we'll get to one coming up this week a little bit. But before we do that, because we don't want to skip past Wednesday, another home match against a tricky team in Mercyhurst. What do you expect from that matchup?
Yeah, tricky. That's a good way to describe it. So we see them at home, and then we'll see them at their place when it counts for conference later on this season. But I think it'll be good to see them first, just to kind of see what's going on with them, who they have. Obviously a film, but it's just, until you see them in person, then you can get all the ins and outs. But we expect a win for sure. But is it going to come easy? No. This conference, you have to work in every game that you play. You can't just go in and expect to not put in work and it just to reap the benefits. So we have to be prepared, and so we're going to make sure that we're doing that in all aspects with our press, corners, our defense, offensive tactics, and I don't know. I think they're going to be a challenge for sure. And tricky's a good word because their style is a little bit different in the way that they play. So you always have to adapt to that.
Obviously, and we've talked about it every time we talk about your road trips, but that's no easy drive for that team. So how important is it to really kind of catch them early in a game like that, where your opponent, you realize they have to take a 3+ hour bus ride to get here?
Yeah, and it's a 3 o'clock game, so it's an hour earlier than usually we play at 4. So, I just think we're going to be, we haven't traveled that day, so we'll be the home team, and it's our field, so there's positives working in our favor for that Wednesday. And so coming out early for us and setting the tone is going to be really important. Definitely, and I think that's going to be what we need to make sure we secure a win.
And then, again, not getting past Wednesday, obviously, but then this weekend, a trip, speaking of long trips, long trip to St. Louis for a couple of matches.
Yeah.
What are some of the things, that you're preparing to do with the team in St. Louis, and then kind of on the opposite end of that, being able to get everyone to then focus back in for the 2 games that you got?
Yeah, and so on the flip side, funny you say that, we are doing the long travel then this coming weekend. And by long, we mean 13 hours long. So
long.
We leave 7 a.m. on Friday, and we head out, and we got stops in the mix for lunch and dinners. We get off, stretch our legs. So on Friday, we're thrown into the mix after lunch. We're doing a lip sync battle in the back of the bus. And so we have different themes for each class. We gave them what theme they're going to be, like dressing up wise, and Then they have to pick a song within that theme. And I just think it's going to just help break up the trip and pass the time and just be fun and something entertaining. And so I think that aspect will be good. We'll have movies and that sort of thing. Girls are talking about bringing cards and games to play as well. We're talking about doing trivia, something like that. So I think that'll really help matters. But we'll get out there Friday late night, and then we play Saturday at noon is our first game. So after that, we'll kind of get ready at the hotel and go back downtown. We're going to go down to see the arches of St. Louis, and we're going to do dinner downtown as well, and then maybe walk around a little bit, sightsee, and then we play at 11 a.m. on Sunday. So it is going to be a quick trip, a quick turnaround with long drive, but it'll be broken up enough to try and just really help matters.
How important, or kind of the opportunity for your team, is it to be able to go on this long road trip, but have those 2 games? I mean, you have that tournament at the beginning of the year, which, I mean, this year wasn't too long of a drive, but in the past has been long. But to have those long trips where you have that mix of focus on the game and then focus on where you are.
Well, it'll be, I think I'm a planner, so I just have things mapped out in advance, and Coach Hoover and she's good in that area too, so like we already have the itinerary done, and it's a nice way for kids to stay structured. Breakfast is gonna be at the hotel, like it's included, so like we make things pretty seamless in certain areas, so it's rather easy, and we give them like, okay, after breakfast, before we get on the bus, we make sure that they kind of have like at least an hour just to like chill for a second, you know what I mean? Because if it's too much go, and not any type of breathing room, then that's a little exhausting too. So we try our best to make sure that there's little pockets of time, but like the games, Saturday at noon, Sunday at 11, like all that we have before that is wake up, do our team walk, breakfast, get on the bus, focus, it's game. So it's not like we're throwing in things in the mix before the game where it can take their focus off of it. And we put music on the bus and that kind of stuff. And like, I'm always like, let's get to the field in advance so we can get off the bus, not feel rushed, kind of make our way into the locker room, get the music going, and that, like, I think that piece helps too, so that it's not like hurry when you get off the bus. And it helps because it doesn't make people feel like, okay, we don't have time to breathe, you know, and I think that's important.
Hey, it should be a fun week, a fun weekend. I know you're looking forward to it. Should be great. Thank you so much for taking the time and stopping by.
As always.
And Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere.
Pride and passion drives the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. From 55 NCAA championship teams, 294 individual national champs, and counting. Who's next? Make the PSAC yours. PSAC Proud is winning in athletics and in the classroom. Over 3,100 PSAC student athletes are honored as scholar athletes. It's a perfect mix of athletics and academics. It's time to make the PSAC yours.
What goes into a student athlete's game day? We went with Saramae Radel of the field hockey team for game day with Saramae.
Good morning, guys. It's game day, and we're about to go get some game day Dunkin' with Moose. Moose goes to Dunkin'. Alright, so in the Dunkin' drive-thru with Moose came with us. We have to get our Dunkin' because we run on Dunkin', actually. Yes. And we're gonna try to get the Dunkin' worker to say hi on camera to you guys because they literally love us, and if we don't show up, they get concerned. So our Dunkin' guy wasn't working, he had off today, but here's our third roommate, finally woke up. Hi, happy game day.
Morning breakfast. Morning. Game day. Coaches say hi. Jesus. We're at Manzer. This is what's for breakfast. Eating good before this dump today.
Hydrating.
Oh, this is most important. Everyone's got their water. Say good morning.
Good morning. For breakfast today, I'm having a hash brown with some syrup on it and some oddly liquidy potatoes.
It's all right. We're gonna make it work. We'll see you in the locker room. Say bye, Morgan.
What do you guys think? Okay, but my concern is this. We just kissed him! Oh my god. Oh my god. So we decorated lockers for our first game day because it's opening weekend. Everyone's kind of hyped. Say it again.
Happy game day. That should be it now.
So now we're getting ready pre-game.
We're having a little dance party.
On three, ready? 1, 2, 3.
So now you turn up that dial again if you're the Mounties, and for IUP, really, you just try to continue to play your game, and because a penalty shot's a hard opportunity to save. Straub trying to challenge forward. She's in the circle. Robertson turnaround shot. Oh, this one hopped up, and the Mounties have tied it.
So now we're after game tailgate with our families. This is Tommy.
Hi.
Ben. How do you switch the camera?
I don't know you.
You don't.
Nah, who are you?
Oh. To get a video of this. Well. Say hi to our vlog. Hi. Yes! All right, Bree, how good is your cupcake? Good. Good?
Okay, and I want to see it. Do it.
I'll be with you guys.
So now we just got back from the tailgate and we're just gonna end our night by hanging out here and watching football. Thanks for tuning in.
And much more sidelines on the horizon. Do not go anywhere. That's going to do it for this show, folks. To stay up to date on all things Mansfield Athletics, head over to GoMounties.com. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.